Hello and welcome to Spring Semester 2022. My name is Professor Margaret Hankinson. I'm a professor of political science at UW-Milwaukee at Waukesha, and I'll be your instructor this semester for Introduction to American Government and Politics. This is a short video just designed to introduce you to some of what we're going to be learning about this semester. The course itself is divided up into 3 units. The first unit is about the foundations of American government. The second unit is about the institutions of American government. And the third unit is about politics in American government. So what are you going to be learning about in each of these units? Well, in the first unit, we'll be taking a look at the values and principles that provide the foundation for democratic governance in the United States. In this unit, you're going to be reading and learning about some of the key documents that are associated with the founding of the United States, with special emphasis placed on the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. In this unit, you're also going to be learning about the concept of federalism. That is the power sharing relationship that the founders designed to ensure that all of the power is not in the hands of just one institution of government or one part of the United States. And so federalism is the power sharing relationship between the national and state governments, and it's a key component to understanding American government. In this first unit, you're also going to be learning about civil liberties and civil rights. Civil liberties, I think some of us are familiar with, probably familiar with civil rights as well, but we might not be sure what the difference between the two is. Civil liberties refer to the personal freedoms that are necessary for a democratic society. Freedoms such as the right to freely express yourself, the right to freely worship or the right to not worship, freedom of the press, as well as the rights of that are associated with personal freedoms, personal autonomy, and privacy. These are just a few of the examples of the civil liberties that you're going to be learning about in this first unit this semester. You're also going to be learning about civil rights. And so civil rights are the demands or the obligations that the people place on our government to make sure that people that live in this country are not discriminated against. That is, that they are treated equally in the eyes of the law, regardless of their race, gender, age, religion, ethnicity, or country of origin. And so this first unit, you learn about the founding documents, you learn about key concepts such as federalism, separation of powers, you learn about civil liberties and civil rights. And all of that foundational material is really important so that you can better understand the 2 units that follow. So in Unit 2, that unit is dedicated to learning about the institutions of American government. And so in this section, you're going to be learning about the structure and processes of the federal institutions that govern over the United States, since this is a class on American government, not state and local government. And so you'll be learning about the federal lawmaking branches, the United States Congress. So the federal lawmaking branch, which is the United States Congress, and it has 2 chambers, the House of Representatives and the Senate. And so you're going to be learning about, the lawmaking process, and how those 2 institutions are structured. You're also going to be learning about the federal executive branch as well. In particular, you're going to be learning about the American presidency and the federal bureaucracy. First we'll learn about Congress, and that's the legislative branch, and the legislative branch makes laws. It's the executive branch that takes those laws and implements them or puts them into action. So we spend most of our time in learning about the federal executive branch, examining the powers and the duties of the presidency, particularly the role that the president plays in the lawmaking process. But will also be examining the president's role as commander-in-chief, ensuring the safety and security of the United States, and also the diplomatic powers of the president, making sure that there are good relationships between the United States and other nations, among other powers that we're going to be looking at. Then the final governmental institution that we'll be examining is the federal courts. And that will place special emphasis on learning about the Supreme Court of the United States. So you'll learn about the organization and the power of the federal courts, basically what the federal courts do and how those are different from the state courts. You'll also be learning about the extremely important role that the Supreme Court of the United States plays in determining the constitutionality of law and also defining and expanding, or in sometimes contracting, our personal freedoms, our civil liberties. The third unit for this class focuses on American politics. And so we've got American government, the governmental institutions you'll be learning about in Unit 2. And then in Unit 3, we're going to learn about American politics. So what politics is the conflict over the leadership, structure, and policies of the government, okay? And so, in other words, politics is engaging in the struggle to get power in order to determine or influence who leads our government, who gets elected, and the types of public policies that those elected officials enact. And so politics is basically trying to influence who leads us and the kinds of policies that govern over us. So in this unit, you're going to be learning about political ideologies. That's where we start in terms of learning about American politics. So political ideologies, or another way of looking at those, are like political worldviews. They basically can provide the energy behind getting involved in politics. And so you'll be learning about liberalism and conservatism. Those are the two dominant ideologies in the United States, but we'll be touching upon other ideologies as well. In this section in Unit 3, you'll be learning about the role that the news media plays in democracy and the impact that the news media has on politics. You'll also be learning about political participation, in particular voting. That's how most of us politically participate, but you'll be learning about other forms of political participation, such as protests and joining political parties. And you'll also be learning about campaigns and elections in that unit as well. So that's basically the major outline of the course, the way that the 3 units of the course, and a quick overview of some of the major sections of this course. You'll be engaging in hopefully some fun and interesting assignments that will give you the opportunity to apply what you're learning in this class. For example, you're going to be writing a letter to a member of Congress, making a case for why they should or should not support a bill that's pending before Congress. You're going to be writing these citizenship and action papers that basically, allow you to dig more deeply into some of the concepts that you're going to be learning about throughout the course of the semester. And there are lots to choose from. You write 2, but there are a lot of options for the citizenship and actions to choose from. And so one is you can analyze, political cartoons. You can compare and contrast campaign ads. You can watch a documentary and learn more about federalism. Those are just some examples. We're also going to have lots of online discussions during the course of the semester, which again gets you to dig in more deeply and think critically and critically analyze what we're going to be learning about this semester. But it also gets you an opportunity to interact with people that you're taking the class with. So that's what you got on the docket for, or at least a lot of what you have on the docket for this semester. This week you're going to be reading through the syllabus, the course calendar, and basically familiarizing yourself in more depth about American government and politics. So welcome. That's it for me for right now. I'm really excited to get started with the semester. I love teaching American government politics. I've done it for a long time, and I really can't wait to meet you all. So thanks for listening to this little mini video, and I'll talk to you again soon.